All right, Fit Family Podcast presents The Family in Fit Family. The coffee's hot and Tay Tay's present. So, part 2 is called Tay Tay. His actual name is Matei Brighton Dothard. So, if you search the Hebrew word for Matthew, it's Mateo. Let me spell that for you. MattityahU, because that's the word my wife looked up to name this guy. And by the way, not my idea. I was like, okay, what is that Hebrew for? She goes, it's Hebrew for Matthew. I go, then why don't we call him Matthew? She's like, no, I get to name him. You named Alex. Okay, all right, that's fine. So each of my boys can be represented by their pregnancies. Okay, maybe more information than you need to know. But Alex was chill. Took him 36 hours to come out. Yeah, that's 36 hours, by the way, that I was drug-free. And this guy, has anybody ever seen the movie Alien? So literally my wife would be sitting and like a foot would go out like this. And I'm like, ah. She goes, isn't that beautiful? I'm like, no. Is it trying to eat its way out, or is it going to be born naturally? So anyway, that represents this guy. So my oldest son looks like me, acts like his mother. This guy looks like my wife, totally acts like me when it comes to being on stage or showing off or, showcasing his many talents. And he's been on stage his whole life. Like, we give this dude a bath and he'd run around the house naked. I thought they were going to take him from us.
Okay, but every child does that.
Every child does that?
Every child does that.
Okay, well.
I don't think there's a child that has run around the house naked.
Okay, well, the other child we had didn't. So I can only go by the two that I have.
Well, that child is like a hobbit dorm. He just sits in a hole and just rots away.
Yeah, okay, we're going to talk about the relationship between, number one and number two son. But, he would go into a room and fart and go, it was me.
But every kid does.
Okay, well,
that's so normal.
That's fair enough.
Yeah,
my wife has asked
normal.
when that's going to stop. And I'm like, okay, I'm 63. Still hasn't stopped. So anyway.
It's because it's still just as funny.
And as you can tell, he has personality in spades. Everything's a contest. I remember he would practice video games and he'd invite somebody over for a sleepover. And he'd be like, oh, I hardly ever play this game. So let's play this game. And he would just spank them. And everything was like that. Like, we had a little trampoline. He would, do all these tricks on the trampoline, then have people over. In basketball, we had a little goal out front, and he'd be like, oh, Dad, let's play this game. But, you have to score like 10 shots, and I only have to score 1.
Okay, that's a little skewed right there. I think your memory slipped now, man.
It's my intro. Okay. But I tell you what, this guy has made me enjoy being a dad. And I have to admit, after he leaves our house for college, I don't even think I'm going to want to live there. I mean, it's just going to be such a bore. I mean, I wake up to just beautiful piano music or, a joke, or he'll just enter a room and go, are you not entertained? I mean, just love it. Just absolutely love it. But my season with him was amateur athletics. So, you know how you get to see your kid on a field, and it's a different kid than at home. They may be disciplined, they may be a team leader. But I got to travel with him to different states and fly and stay in a hotel and eat meals and see him play a sport that he
and just
really
want to add here, he had to have his hand held by a 12-year-old through the airport every time. Every time.
Okay. He'd be like,
Matei, do you remember where the bathroom was? I'm like, it's over there. Same spot it was the last 30 times.
Okay, I just want to remind you that should I have the technical knowledge, I would mute his mic until my intro was done. So the only reason I want to be given more years on this planet is to see how this guy is going to, quote unquote, put butts in seats. Because I just think he's meant to entertain and just make people glad that he was born, just like we are. So since he's interrupted my intro, I will let him do his own intro. So you're on, Home Slice.
Wow, that was quick.
I told you I timed it at under 5 minutes, egghead.
All right, well, as he said, I'm just a better version of Spawn of him. You can tell by my name.
Wow.
You can just tell by my name. I mean, when you think about it, he named first son after himself. Robert, and then called him Alex after Alexander the Great, I think. I would hope so.
That's
okay.
correct.
So a little creativity there. But you can tell the baseline creativity is, sinking toward the ground, right? I mean, a submarine's higher than it. But, my mom decided to give me a great name. Gave me Matei, Hebrew for Matthew, which actually translates to a gift of the God of Israel. And my middle name, Brighton, translates to for whom is loved. So it spells out the sentence, a gift of the God of Israel for whom is loved. Don't roll your eyes. Don't roll your eyes because
did we turn Jewish when I wasn't looking? You should be wearing one of those little beanies.
Okay.
Is it to cover up your bald spot? Is that the?
It's just the bald one.
You're still on your intro, by the way.
Okay. Anyways, what do I even say?
You were talking about how great your name was and how great you were and how I was just a minor version of you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Besides your slightly bigger stature, I'm just a better version.
Slightly bigger. Okay. Well, that's okay. You were able to beat me in tennis in my 60s, so maybe when I'm in my 70s, you'll be stronger than me.
Yeah,
I'm loving this podcast so far.
Not everyone's dad is just like actually jacked at 63. Like every time I show people you, they're like, "That's your dad? How old is he?" And I'm like, 63, and they're like, "He has to be on steroids."
Yeah, but I'm a professional trainer, so
yeah, it makes sense at the same time.
We're digressing. Yeah. You're still on your intro.
What am I supposed to say for my intro?
Well, how would, if somebody were meeting you for the first time and you're like, hey, tell me a little bit about yourself. You're not just going to talk about how your name was made.
Yeah, because I showed how great I am. I'm just kidding.
Stop. Talk about, one thing I didn't talk about? You are like Chef Boyardee all of a sudden. You are like cooking like a gourmet chef.
Cooking it's so much fun. I've really loved cooking. I mean, I've always liked nice things. I've always wanted to, especially, I joined a business that my friend started. It's a very lucrative business if you do it right. So I've always strived to try and get myself nice things, try and get other people nice things. I just like nice things. So I figured, if I'm going to cook, like, why not make it really nice? Why not make it really fancy? Why not make it something enjoyable, like an art?
But you do that in other areas. Like, your fashion sense. You have quite the fashion sense. You try to dress well and
yeah. I think when people see you, they immediately know whether they're interested or not interested in you within the first few seconds of seeing you. And the first thing they look at is your clothes, your face, and your hair. Those are all the first things they look at. And if those aren't represented well,
and if you don't have hair, how does that work?
Well, if you don't have hair, then you don't have to worry about it.
Okay. All right.
But just make sure you're really jacked if you're bald. I've never seen an in between. If you're bald, you either have to be really jacked or really fat, and there's just no in between. Because if you're in between that, you're just you look like a chemo patient, and it's just
wow.
It's just like
I really hope I don't get cancer, and because this podcast.
We're already bald.
Okay, well there you go.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about your business, because that's something that is fascinating. Because you've never had a quote unquote job.
Yeah, true.
And then all of a sudden, you're like the COO or something.
Yeah. So I think I realized I didn't want to. I'd always been interested in working a job for the experience, maybe doing an internship or doing something, but I think that changed. I was out shopping with my girlfriend, and I was looking at a shirt, and it was a Ralph Lauren shirt. So it was maybe $75 to I don't know, $100. And she said out loud, wow, that's 10 hours of my life right there, because she had a summer job at Pelicans and she got paid maybe $10 an hour. She said, well, that's 10 hours of my life right there. And something in my head just clicked where it's you're trading your lifespan for objects. And I didn't want to do that. So I wanted to figure out a way that I could control a group of people to do the work for me. So that way I wouldn't have to work so dead to the bone later in life in order to, buy things. So being in control, being a COO, moving things around to a point where revenue starts to come in, you start to earn greater profits. I've really enjoyed that. And I think it's given me more experience than any job ever will. I talk to more people than I would at any other job. you can work a fast food job and have 1,000 unuseful interactions, but I mean, you could do something like this and you can have one conversation with an important person that'll change your life.
Yeah, but to be fair, you haven't had that fast food job, so you're guessing.
That's true. I am guessing, but I do have a lot of friends that do work fast. Aiden, he works at Dunkin', and he's not learning anything useful there.
Okay.
Like, sure, yeah, he's getting a paycheck. He's getting work in. He's getting something on his resume.
I do like the fact that he's your pickleball partner.
I mean, he hardly goes there.
Oh, okay. I thought he did a lot.
He goes to a lot of private events because he gets invited to them. Like he's actually really good. So I just go to Dupree for fun.
Okay. Well, I think pickleball is pretty. I got a chance to see.
It's gotten really popular. It got really popular really fast.
And from what I understand, it's played on a lot of private courts because I think didn't they get banned from one?
What?
Anyway, I was talking to his dad, and it just seemed like there was a pickleball court that because of a relationship that they are allowed to go to.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Aiden. Aiden's.
So this is your podcast, so let's talk about you and pickleball.
Oh my gosh. No, me and pickleball is just looking at other events of pickleball. Me at pickleball is just my time to just enjoy what's going on around.
Nice.
It's really fun though, but
seems like a good group too.
Yeah, it is. It's like you don't meet a lot of bad people. Like no one has a problem with each other.
Okay.
Like there's
kind of like hockey because I mean I remember after hockey matches you being in the locker room like, hey, do you want to come over? Hey, do you want to come over? Hey, do you want to come over?
What else was I gonna do?
Yeah.
We were in another state in hotel rooms. That was like the only thing too.
No, and this is even in home games. You had people come over. Games. I think you wanted to kind of again. You were in an environment that you enjoyed. We had a lot of tech at the house and a lot of fun things to play.
That's true.
We tried to make the house so that people would come to our house because, you know, your mom would always be like, do you know how much we're paying to have the IT house? I'm like, yeah, buddy. But when we look around for our kids, we just have to look in our house or in our yard. You know, we don't have to look at other people's houses to find our kids because the kids are coming here.
Exactly.
We did enjoy that.
Yeah. I still remember when me and Gino would share a birthday party. Those were the best because it would either be at Gino's house or our house, and both houses had like so much stuff to do. Yeah,
they're a fun family. I like a lot of the hockey families because the whole family will get involved in sports, and I'm a big believer in amateur athletics for kids. But that family is just like, and Gino's sister, by the way, was the best athlete.
Gosh, dude.
All of you knuckleheads.
I know.
But just a remarkable family. And I could rattle off 5 families that are just as awesome as they are.
Yeah.
All right, so
beat everyone in the fundraiser.
Yeah, oh my goodness. And probably still could.
Probably. Probably
smoked still could.
Every last one of us.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what about amateur athletics? How do you think that helped you kind of growing up?
I think it showed me a lot of responsibility and discipline. Two biggest things. Our coach was Russian, so he did not let anything slide. He didn't let anything go.
Coach Young.
You did something wrong. You own up to it. You fix it. Simple as that. And I think growing up, especially because of the household I grew up in, like I'm not gonna say I didn't grow up spoiled. Like I grew up in an upper middle class family. Naturally, I grew up spoiled. And I think it helped tone down on that. I think it helped me realize that I need to take responsibility for my actions. If I want to be successful in something, I need to work hard at it. I need to put the practice in it. And I need to keep evolving to a point where I'm useful to my teammates. And if I just stayed at a point where everything was handed to me and everyone did something for me and everything was done for me, that I wouldn't really get far, whether it was in life or sports or just anything in general. I think that's what it really taught me.
And you learned how to cuss in Russian.
I did.
Well, we do not need to give any examples of that for anybody maybe listening that actually speaks Russian. But
translate for us, please. We still don't know what it means.
You transferred from amateur athletics to almost like the arts. Like you switched from hockey to the piano, and you were so passionate about the piano. We actually own 2 pianos. We have an instruction piano, excuse me, and we have a baby grand piano. Talk about that.
And by instruction piano, he means it's just a digital piano. It's just a keyboard.
Yeah, but we were told it was easier to learn the piano on that.
Yeah, it's because it has like the follow the lights thing on it, so you can like practice songs and stuff. But I always like I like practicing on like the acoustic piano because the follow the lights never really helped me. I always like just reading the music, doing the scales, simple stuff like that. But
and you love classical music, like not a lot of popular music.
No, I don't. I don't like the music that comes out in this generation. It's just
we think you and your brother are old souls because of that. Because you both we
both love the 70s, 60s, and I mean all the way back to classical music. I mean I love it. It's sophisticated. It has a meaning. Songs are based on poetry or events, like Shostakovich's Symphony Number 11 or Symphony Number 9, based off the Bloody Sunday in Russia, or Chopin's Ballad Number 3, based off a poem based off a water spirit falling in love with a human.
Chopin's Ballad Number 3. I was just about to say that one.
Yeah, I bet you were. Do you know how to spell Chopin?
No.
Didn't think so.
I thought Chopin was somebody who lived in Little Five Points. I have no idea.
Okay. No, but I mean, I like some of the modern music. Like, I have a playlist like full of like music that's come out like within this generation. But to me, I don't like the mumble rap that comes out, or a lot of the rap that comes out. I think songs have to. I mean, it's up to personal preference, but I think songs to an individual just have to sound good, and they have to mean something, and that's just like what music is for me. As long as it means as long as I can hear that it means something, then I think I'll enjoy it, which is why I enjoy a lot of old music, 70s, 80s, 60s, especially 50s, definitely 50s.
Yeah. I love the fact that you're passionate about your interests. I think you learned a lot of that through Montessori, which you went through the Montessori system, and the school you went to was just so well run by Mr. Matty and his wife. And, obviously it had an impression on you. You kept going back to like help them teach and to help them. And
I still go back. I think the last time I went was 2 years ago. I plan on going this semester or after this semester, but I even still go to Blackwell. I still visit my elementary school. I still like read to the kids there and talk to the teachers I had.
And we live in East Cobb, so even the public schools are very good here.
Yeah, they are. I mean, Blackwell was really good, but oh my gosh, Montessori put me so far ahead. Like I pretty much finished fifth grade by the time I left Montessori.
Yeah, I did a presentation at a Montessori school before I even had kids. This is when I was single.
Yeah.
And I was like, the kids were so sharp and attentive. I'm like, my kids are definitely going to go to Montessori.
Yeah. I mean, it was great. I mean, they taught everything. I mean, they taught advanced mathematics. I mean, I remember there was a kid who was like, I guess you would call him a prodigy. I think he went all the way up to high school math while he was there. And his name was Jeremy. And I still remember him because he left the school like 2 years before I did, because I left at the end of kindergarten, so I left at like 5.
Right.
Yeah, I left at 5. He left when he was like 3, maybe 3.5.
Yeah, your brother did Montessori to like I think fourth or fifth grade. Yeah.
Yeah, but then they stopped doing it up to.
Yeah, I think that program works well when you're younger. I don't think it really is good for people that are older.
Yeah, especially because you're stuck with one class your entire like all of the 5-6 years. You're stuck with just one class. At least like at a big public school, you're stuck with like maybe another few hundred kids like in your grade alone. Right.
Well, I mean, obviously Montessori was awesome for you. What would you say were some of your like highlights growing up? Like, what could you point to and like, man, I'm so glad I did X or Y?
Oh my, so many. I think the biggest thing is definitely with Alex. Definitely with Alex. I still have a dent in my skull. We used to lock each other in a sleeping bag and toss each other down the stairs, and I still remember that.
By the way, don't know where Miss Millie was when this was going on, or whoever was supposed to be watching. Was this when Grandma?
This was when Grandma was.
My mother-in-law, aka Grandma, now lives with us, but she really helped after, because my wife had a career and I had a career, and so Grandma was left home to watch two boys that were rambunctious. Would that be a good term?
Yeah. two people that completed each other into just complete idiocracy.
Yeah.
I mean,
throwing each other down the stairs, zipped up in a sleeping bag.
See,
I think that tells you everything you need to know about the Dothard household.
Here's the thing. My brother like the brains. Like, my brother and I are complete opposites. So anything you know about me, assume the exact opposite about him. The two things we agree on is things to watch and music to listen to. Everything else is just polar opposite. So he would come up with great ideas like, hey, let's stuff dry ice and put, nails in a 2-liter bottle and turn it into a grenade. But I would be the one to throw it. And he would be like, let's lock each other in sleeping bags and go down the stairs. But I'd be the first one to do it. So he would he would come up with something, and I would just chaotically jump my way into it. And eventually something would go wrong, per my nickname, Murphy.
Yeah, Murphy's Law, because, the guy that played, years and years of hockey injures himself at a trampoline park, totally blows out his knee at a trampoline park.
Dislocated it, fractured it, and tore my patella tendon in 2 places completely.
Yeah.
That was 9 months of rehab?
Yeah, they put you back together. So,
yeah.
But
that surgeon did a great job.
She did. She did a very good job.
All
right, so there are a lot of awesome things you're growing up. What would you say was some of the things that not so awesome that maybe I or someone in the household could have done better in your eyes?
Nothing really. I mean,
well, that's a good answer to hear from your kid.
No, I don't think there's. Yeah, I honestly can't think of a single thing that like you, mom, or grandma have genuinely just done wrong. Like,
I would like you to be a little bit more self-sufficient.
No, it's not the fact that I can't realize flaws, but it's more of a fact that because I've realized flaws, that I've learned what to do and what not to do properly. And I haven't seen it through a bad example, but I've seen it through mom does something wrong and she admits, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And I see that, and then I know I shouldn't do that either, right? Or you do the same thing. But there hasn't been any direct parenting tool that you guys have used that has been wrong. Like, I think the one thing is that you could have said no more. Definitely could have said no more.
By the way, the nose came from my side, and then I'd get overruled. Well, why can't we have a baby grand piano? Because we already own a piano? Yes, but he's very passionate about the piano. And, if he wants to learn how to play the piano, we need to get him a very good piano, which is how he ended up with a baby grand piano that will actually go with him wherever he moves and wherever he resides. It's his piano. And it costs as much as my car. But I digress.
Actually, your car costs a little more, but that's not there.
That's neither here nor there. Okay.
On the bright side, though,
yes,
in the next few years, the piano will be more valuable than your car because it's an appreciating asset. So
nice.
So you can sell it for more than it's worth when you're done with it.
Awesome.
So you can get your money back.
Now let's move to the future. So where, if you were in an interview and the interviewer was like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? So what's your 5-year plan from here? Because you're about to finish high school, so you're about to take a major step in life. And obviously we are going to college. Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yes. I don't care if it's unfortunate. We are going to college.
Yeah.
And so what's the 5-year plan?
5-year plan? I mean, in basic terms, millionaire by the time I'm out of college and billionaire before I'm 40.
Nice. Okay. So all of your goals are financial. Yes.
And I think when you strive for something, especially financial stability, I feel like I'll find a lot of solemn in that, because I'll find a lot of solemn in the fact that I can take care of my loved ones. I can do the right thing with my money. Mom has always been very adamant about using your money for the kingdom, and I think I can definitely make her proud by using a substantial amount of money for that. And being able to take care of dear friends that I've known for Abraham, Aiden. I mean, I've known them for decades, and they've been there. Like, anytime I ask them something, they're there.
Well, you can't say decades plural, sweetheart, because you've only been around for 18 years. So,
sorry, decade. half my lifespan.
Okay,
Is that better?
Let's just get a realistic number. And
no, that is. I've known the meat for 12, 10 years.
I understand. What about your faith? Because obviously, that was a big part of Alex's story, and obviously it's a part of yours, being baptized in the neighbor's pool because our church was closed at the time. So how has your faith affected you over your 5-year plan? Like moving forward, how does your faith? I know, making the money and helping people is great, but the old, you can serve, you can't have too many masters. And it sounds like you're very passionate about making money. So how does that fit faith-wise in your plan?
Like mom asked me the same question a while ago. Money is not my master. I'm not a slave. I'm not a slave to money. There's nothing wrong with wanting to earn money. So I think a lot of, especially Christians, I think a lot of Christians get mixed up the desire to be financially well and the step up from that simply just worshiping money and living for money. I don't plan to live for money, but use money in the right way within my life. But in terms of faith, I think God will be the defining factor keeping my head straight, because every wrong decision that I've made, I just think Jesus wouldn't do that. And every wrong decision that I might have made, I think.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was like, what was that? Was that my phone or yours?
I'm not sure. Go ahead.
But in terms of going in the future, I think God will be the defining factor of keeping my head straight and actually achieving my goals, because only He knows what you need. I may know what I want.
Amen.
And what I want is, what I've said. What I want is to be financially stable, to find these things, to have a good family, have a stable family, maybe have a certain girl, maybe have a certain all of this, but only He knows what I need. And I can only assume as I go forward, as I grow in my faith, that He gives me what I need and not simply what I want, which I know He will do, because I know He knows what's best for me. And I think that will be the defining factor of my success, because I only have 2 fears in life. I have 2 greatest fears in life. I'm not afraid of anything else, not a bug, not deep waters. I'm afraid of 2 things. I'm afraid of disappointing God is the first one, and the second one is accidentally killing someone in a fight. But emphasis on the first one, my greatest fear in life is going up to heaven, looking Him in the eye, and Him saying, "Depart from me, for I never knew you." That is my greatest fear ever. And
that's a good fear to have, because you'll live your life a certain way to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. And every time I don't live that certain way, I beat myself to the ground. I mean, it really sucks especially when you've gone, I guess you could say, on a cold streak, where it's like, you haven't been doing the right thing. You haven't been faithful to your Lord, and you realize that, and you just realize, what the hell have you been doing this entire time? And it's just like, it is really hard. I think especially...
What the hell indeed.
Yeah. I think especially as a teenager in such a digital world where you have the access to everything under your fingertips, it is really hard to stay on the straight and narrow, because you have so much sin sitting in front of you, so much pleasure sitting in front of you.
Absolutely.
It is really hard for young men these days to stay on the right track. And
well, I think you're doing a great job. I've always said, you show me your friends, I'll show you your future. I like your friends. I like the decisions you're making, like going to college and doing things of that nature. Your interests are you're very passionate about your interests, your job, your cooking, your piano. I love the fact that you're passionate about the things that you love. And there are many reasons why your mom and I are proud of you and that we love you. And our love is not conditioned upon you being a good young man, but we're just so thankful that you are. And we just want that to continue. So just closing out the podcast, what is it that maybe I didn't ask or didn't bring up that you want people to know about you moving forward, like that they can maybe help you or inspire them to help their kids? Oh man, that sounds like a really well put together young man. I want my daughter or my son to kind of have that relationship with the Lord or have those type of ambitions. What would you say to those people?
I would say feed your kids interest as much as possible. Now that doesn't mean giving them everything they want, but that means when they want to try something, no matter what a great example is a lot of parents keep alcohol from their kids, and for good reason. But a lot of kids go to college and then they binge drink because they've never had alcohol before. I had alcohol at a young age, so I knew what it was. And when you're a kid, alcohol is going to taste horrible. So then I grew up thinking alcohol was horrible, and I still think it's horrible. And I think you want to give your kid as many experiences as you can. You want to give them the broadest spectrum of knowledge and wisdom that you can, whether it's in social etiquette, how to dress, how to speak. I mean, the first time I was taken to a nice restaurant by my parents, I had no idea how to act. I didn't know why there was 3 forks, and I didn't know why there was 3 knives. I didn't know anything. I didn't know why the spoon was at the top of the plate and why the fork was to the right. I didn't know anything. I didn't know why they brought out multiple plates. I didn't know that there was multiple courses, that I got to order an appetizer, then an entree, then a dessert. And I didn't know any of these things. So when I grew up, I questioned and I got answers. I either asked them or I looked up, like, what is proper social etiquette? I got apps learning how to speak properly, how to entice people within my speech, how to introduce myself properly, how to speak in a way that people will want to listen and follow me. And I think giving your kids the opportunity to experience one thing and one of many things at least once will give them that desire to seek the knowledge in order to expand and grow in life. And that way they can really succeed and thrive. Because when you have a broad spectrum of ambition, a broad spectrum of knowledge, you can go so many paths. There's so many doors open. And that way you're not closing doors in front of your kids' faces. Because I think, like, my dad is so emphasized, especially my mom as well, emphasized on going to college. Right now, I may not see the desire in college because I'm thinking my college won't help me with my goals. But I don't know that yet. I'm too young. They have lived the life. They've seen it. They have built the life off the college degree, right? And I may not like it. I may not agree with them now. And even saying that out loud, I still don't. But I'm 17. I'm ignorant. I still have much naiveness in me. And I think going to college, whether I enjoy it or not, it'll be beneficial in some way because I trust my parents in that guidance. So you just have to keep doors open for your kids. And that is the biggest thing, because with doors open brings opportunity, and eventually they'll walk through one of them, and eventually they'll make a career out of it, and eventually you would have successfully done your job as a parent. So I would just say give them the broadest range of experience so they can find something, they can learn something, and as many things as possible, and so they can grow.
Amen. From your mouth to God's ear. Folks, let me tell you, I have to give my wife a lot of credit on Knucklehead's ability to articulate his passion, his desires moving forward. But we're a household where we leave everything up to our Lord and Savior. And I am so honored that I've had the opportunity to raise Egghead here. And I just think he's going to do exciting things. He's going to put butts in seats somehow, whether it's in sales, performing. I don't know how, but I hope I get enough years to see that. And I thank him for taking some time to share, some things about him that probably he would prefer not to share. But I think, several years from now, when he looks back on this little podcast that we did as a family, hopefully he'll say, you know what, that was a good way to introduce myself. And then maybe after college, he'll do another one. And then after that, his story will be a matter of public record like mine is through my website. So thank you for your time. That's number 2. And we're saving the best for last. Mama, Renee Peacock Dothard will be featured in part 3. And we hope to see you then.
Wonder how that's going to go.
That's a